Hi, and welcome to episode 13 of the PassioKnit Spinner Podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. It's written like this. I did open a Ravelry group for the podcast. You can find it at the PassioKnit Spinner Podcast. Just search for it on the Ravelry groups tab. And there is a blog where show notes can be found whenever I find the time to properly write them. But I hope that will be better from now on. It's at thepassionatespinner.wordpress.com. And thank you so much for being here. And I want to shout out to Mandy, who's the host of the Lover Bunny Designs podcast. And she dyes amazing yarn as well. You can find her shop on Etsy. And she talked about my podcast in her last episode. And what she had to say was very nice. So thank you very much, Mandy. It's really sweet of you. So, as you can see, lighting is bad again. Today we have horrible weather, so I apologize for if it's not working the way it should, but there's nothing I can do about it. So, what I'm wearing today, I'm wearing a Lacy Bactus that I knit for myself a few years ago. It's just the simple Bactus style scarf with a lace pattern. It's a free download on Ravelry. The colors are not showing up. It's a really nice teal with purples and pinks. The yarn was from Politically Incorrect Fibers. It's an MCN blend, and I cannot tell you what it's called because that's just very inappropriate, which is what all of her colorways are called. They are very, adult names. But it's a very fun project for a special skein of fingering weight sock yarn or, any fingering weight yarn. So, that's all I have to say about this scarf. It's a scarf. There's nothing more to it. So, knitting in the past. I did knit a little bit this week. I did knit a lot this week. And finished some things. First of all, of course, I finished the baby socks that I showed last week. They were in my knitting in the present section because they were not done yet, but I finished them. They're for, they're very small, so they are for newborn. And they are out of Opal sock yarn, which was in a Opal Abo, which is like the Opal Yarn Club, quite a few years ago. And I did knit those with 36 stitches. I'm gonna just show you one of them. 36 stitches on a US 2. They're done, they're cute. They will go on my baby's feet someday. And yeah. Next up, I started a Knubbelchen. That's the pattern name. It looks like this. It's just a little toy for your baby to play with. It's very nice to knit. It's a free download on Ravelry, and I think it's available in 6 or 7 languages. And yeah, you just start at the top of the head, knit your way down to here, change color, do increases, shape the limbs, and attach a hat. That's basically everything you have to do, and it's super cute. It's it's flat, so the only thing that's stuffed is the head. And I decided to not embroider a face because I looked on Ravelry and there are, I think, over 2,000 projects of this, and all the ones with the face just looked a little bit creepy to me, so I decided to leave it faceless. Also, I had to modify the hat. The hat should be knotted like the arms and legs, but I ran out of the yarn and I didn't want to put in another yarn, so I just did like this. I think it's cute either way. I used for the head this natural color, that's Regia Silk. This color, the main color of the Knubbelchen itself, is from a Araucania yarn, and I don't remember the yarn itself, and I don't have the tag any longer, so I'm sorry. And the black or dark gray color that's in here is my leftover Twisted Lemon from the socks that I'm going to show in about 2 minutes. And it's about to storm, really. It's just some thunder right above us. Great. Now, I knit this on US 2s again. And yeah, that's all I can say about it. It's an amazing pattern. It's super easy. It's a very quick knit, and it's nice and small, so a small baby will have no problems playing with it. Now, the last thing that I finished is something you didn't see before, because I started it this week, and it's a pair of socks. I did knit a pair of toe-up socks, which I never do because I don't enjoy toe-up at all, but I wanted to use up the leftovers, and I have them on my, disposable feet things. I don't know what they're called. They are perfect. They just are perfect. I used Twisted Lemon, that's the self-striping yarn, and paired it with Cakewalk yarns for the cuffs and toes, and some Regia for the heels, because I ran out of the Cakewalk, and I'm going to show you one sock without the foot in it. So, like I said, I did toe up, which I never do, but they did turn out okay. Oh. So, okay, there we go. I did do Judy's Magic cast on, and I cast on 16 stitches altogether. I would totally cast on more stitches because that's just too pointy, in my opinion, for a toe, but I'm okay with it. Then I did knit one whole color repeat that goes through here. It's a 7 stripe, and put in the yarn for the afterthought heel. And then I just did knit another 2 color repeats, I think, and did my cuff. I did the cuff with a 2x2 ribbing, which was what I always do, and I did the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy binder for the very first time, and it really is super stretchy. It was the perfect decision. And as I mentioned before, I did run out of the Cakewalk yarns, which is not that bad because it was a 100% superwash, and for my heels I'm hard on my socks, so I was kind of glad that I had a good excuse to use a different yarn for the heels, and that is just some Regia left over that I had in my stash. Did a afterthought heel the way I always do afterthought heels with stripy socks, and yeah, they are very long. They go halfway to my knee, I would say, and like I said, I love them. So here are the yarn tags. First off, it's Twisted Lemon. Her shop is on Etsy. She's based in the UK. She does amazing self-striping yarn, like you could see. That is the information for the yarn. It's her tangy self-striping in the Knock Your Socks Off colorway. And this is the other yarn that I used. It's Cakewalk yarns. And unfortunately, Cakewalk is no longer in business. I'm not sure if she's just taken a long hiatus or if she just closed down altogether. And that's the information on this yarn. I cannot show you a tag for the Regia yarn because I just don't have one. So, yay for finished socks. They are amazing. And I knit those in, I think, 3 days. I started on Monday and finished on Thursday, I think. So, beautiful, beautiful socks. I did knit those on my new Holz and Stein needles, the olive wood that I showed last week. And I have to say I do like them. They are nice to knit with. But I do have them in a larger size as circulars. I enjoy those way more because the small sizes are super, super bendy. And I got some test run needles that they did, and they decided to not do the olive wood in sock sizes. They only do them in size 3mm up. So there won't be any more sock-sized olive wood needles, which is a good thing, I guess, because they really are very bendy and I'm a very tight knitter. So I don't know if I'm gonna snap them soon or not. That's it for knitting in the past. Knitting in the present. If you follow me on Instagram, you already saw that I am back to my crazy self, and I'm a sock knitter, as you might have guessed already. And I showed my my little sock basket before in my very first episode. I can show it to you again today because I did start 4 pairs of socks yesterday and 1 the day before. The other ones were already started, and I'm gonna show you each and every one of them. So, first off is a pair of socks out of yarn from a German indie. Looks like this. The dyer has her shop on Davanda. It's called Ätherische Öle und Meer. It's a very weird name for a yarn dyer, but it's her tweed base, and I'm knitting plain vanillas. All of the socks I'm going to show are plain vanillas. Those will go to a friend in America. We're doing a trade for... I'm knitting socks for her and she spins yarn for me because I love handspun from others, like I said about 1,000 times before. And I really hope she will like it. I do love the colors. I honestly didn't think it would stripe like this, because the yarn itself looks so much different to me. Like it would, you know, have a different pattern. But I like what I'm getting. Normally I knit a sock with a pattern for her, but this time I'm just not up to it. I don't feel like knitting a sock with a pattern, so I'm not doing it, and I hope she still likes the socks. Then, my dad is here for visiting right now, and I just picked out a bunch of sock yarn, held it in front of him and said, pick one for your next socks, and he did. He decided on this one. I'm almost done with the leg. I think I'm gonna do about 4 or 5 centimeters more. The yarn is Hjerte sock 4-ply. It's from Denmark. But I'm pretty sure that I got this yarn in Sweden, in Stockholm. And I'm almost certain that my husband brought it back from one of his business trips. So it's a beautiful yarn. It's nice. It has a very nice sheen to it, almost like it's with a little silk content, which is not. It's a normal 75-25% sock yarn. And those are knit on my Knitter's Pride Dreams. US 2s, all of them are US 2s. So that's Knitter's Pride needles. Those are Knitter's Pride as well. 72 stitches for my dad. All the other ones are 64 stitches. So I started this pair of socks for myself. The yarn is from Republic of Wool. It's beautiful. I'm using the Holz und Stein Amarello needles, which is a yellow heart needle. And the yarn is just, oh, it's amazing. It's called Lost and Found. And I remember seeing that colorway on her Instagram feed. And I went to the shop and got it right away because it's just gorgeous. This is I think if I hold it back here, you can see all of the great colors better because it's not washed out that much. But I adore this sock. Then I started my first pair with Query Fiber, which is almost shameful to say because I have a huge Query Fiber stash. And I decided on using this yarn. It's a TARDIS in the Park on her glitter. What's the base called? Sparkle yarn. Those are on Holz und Stein needles again, Veilchenholz, and I have no idea what that is in English. I'm sorry. I just really don't know. They're for myself again. Now, the next thing that I started was a pair out of my own hand spun. Looks like this. I spun this from a top that was hand dyed by Be Myself, and it's a panda, which is, you know, the name for a superwash merino bamboo and nylon blend. That is exactly what this is. And I started it with my usual 64 stitches on my US 2s, Holz und Stein bloodwood needles. So those are all the socks that I started within the last 2 days. Now on to the socks that I had started before. I'm knitting this pair of socks out of yarn from a German indie. Her shop is called Sockenroller. She's on Davanda as well. The sock yarn that I'm using here is a blend with normal wool, or wool, bamboo and mohair. And it really is knitting up really nice. I do like the feel of it. It's on my carbons. I enjoy them, but they're not my favorites by far. And this pair of socks is going to be a gift for a friend someday. So, last pair for myself on the needles right now, again on Knitter's Pride Dreams, is a pair of socks out of Gnome Acres. It's her Sparkle Gnome. Yep, it's called Sparkle Gnome. And the colorway is Mustache Manifesto, which is my favorite colorway of hers because I love all the browns. And that is just perfect yarn to knit something for myself. And I do have some more skeins in her DK weight to knit a shawl. So those are for me. And they are gonna be amazing. So, only 2 more, then I'm done. This is a pair of socks that I started for my husband. And I put the needle in that there is not a hole. I promise you there's not a hole in this. I just had put the needle through it like this into the yarn cake, and it was sitting like this for a while. But after the first wash, it's gonna disappear. It's self-striping by 3U's Twisted in Fiber. They are out of business, which is super sad because I love their yarn. This is the normal 75-25 sock yarn, and I'm not sure what it's called. I have to check if I find the tag maybe in here in my basket. No, I can't find it right now. But their normal sock yarn blend is so soft, it feels like an MCN. It's just amazing. And yeah, like I said, it's a self-striping. Can't tell you the name. This color here that looks like a dark navy is actually a very dark purple, a bright teal, and a grass green. So he will love them. And the last pair on the needles is something you've seen before. It's on ebony wood needles by Holz and Stein. It's another German indie dyed yarn from Lakeside Wolle. Her shop is on Davanda and Etsy, I think. I think she has 2 shops. I'm not sure about that. And this is the only pair when I'm my words don't work for me today. It's the only pair where I'm on the second sock, because I have one done. Another sparkle yarn. I'm not sure if you can see the sparkle, but it's really, really pretty. Those socks will go to my niece someday. I think I'm gonna give them to her for her birthday, which is in June. So there's plenty of time left. And I do actually have a tag for the last yarn. It's a, she calls it Glitzer Merino, which is like glitter merino. And it's called Paradiesvogel. And my camera is not cooperating again. Oh well. It just says what I already told you and the makeup of the yarn, so it's not super interesting to see. Okay, and that's it for knitting in the present. We'll see how much I can get done by next week, but as I'm, my brain is not working very great right now for me, I think I might get a lot of this done and not work on other stuff that is really patterned, so okay. For knitting in the future, I want to go back to some UFOs and whips that I have on needles. And I did rearrange my Ravelry queue, which is like 750 items long. But I did rearrange it so that everything that I really want in it soon is on page 1. So I'm gonna go through my first page of the Ravelry queue within the next year or so. We'll see. So spinning, there's no spinning this week. I think it's the first time that I don't have spinning, but I just didn't feel like it, so I didn't spin. New stuff. Just a little bit of new stuff this week. My husband was in Tokyo for work and he brought me back some amazing stuff. He brought me those little charms because I have a necklace to put charms on like this. I'm sure you cannot see it because it's not focusing at all, but this one here is a little croissant and that's a donut. And they do have the lobster claws to put on the necklace, but I think I will use those as stitch markers because they have the perfect size and they are not heavy and I really do like them. He also brought me back some fabric. Just gonna show you the rolls. I have no idea if that is of any importance. It's cute and I do like it. That's the second one he brought back, very manga-esque. And the third one I'm in love with because it's Baba Papa, and I don't know if you Americans out there had Baba Papa, but we do in Germany, or at least we did when I was a kid. And I know that we had a book, and I really look forward to to sew myself a project bag with this fabric. And then, because he's amazing, he brought me 2 little bumps of fiber. It's BFL, it's a natural color BFL. He said he was looking everywhere for yarn, he couldn't find any, and that was the only wool or yarn that he could find at all, and it was in the hand felting section. I'm not sure if this will show up, but it's a blue-faced Leicester, and it says blue-faced Leicester, and there's a little picture of the sheep, what it looks like. I'm not gonna try today. So I think it's about Oh, it says 30 grams per pack, so I have 60 grams and I'm gonna spin them up on my spindles, I think, sometime. And the other thing that I got for myself this week are 2 books. I'm, like you already noticed before, I think, I'm a big fan of Isolde Teak and her patterns, and I do have all of her books, except for this one. I did not have the Whimsical Little Knits 3 book. And I love Stephen West. Most of his things, not everything, because some of them are just too crazy for me. And I did not have book 4. I have all the other books. I got both of them at Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam. I ordered them online and they sent them over. And I'm really happy because in the West Knits book 4 are 2 shawls that I absolutely want to knit for myself, and they are the Barndom and the Bolting patterns. So I'm glad to have my collection of those 2 designers complete now. So that's it for new stuff. My indie of the week this week is Twisted Limone, because I just finished the awesome socks out of her yarn, and her name is Karen. She's super nice, and I did do custom orders with her before, and I just put one in, I think 3 days ago, for colorways that are not in her shop at the moment. And she's great at doing that. So if you see anything in the sold section of her shop, you just can contact her and she will dye those up for you. So I'm going to show you the card again. It's snowing outside right now, which is weird because there was thunder before. So my light is just even worse than it was. Okay, let's try. Twisted Limone, her shop is on Etsy. I'm going to link her in the show notes. She does amazing self-striping yarns. She also has some variegates, but it's mostly about self-striping in her shop. I can highly recommend her. Now, everything else. I did finish the Magisterium book that I showed before, but I already gave it back in the library, so I can't show it again. It was okay, but it was nothing mind-blowing, so I'm not going to continue reading the series. I did not enjoy it that much. But I did start a new book, which is a kids book. Looks like this. It's called Die Schafgang im Auftrag des Widders. The original title is The Quest of the Warrior Sheep, and it's so cute. It's about 5 sheep, which you can see here on the cover. And they are the rare breed sheep of the Eppingham farm. There are 5 sheep of them. There's one Oxford sheep, a Lincoln Longwool, a Jacob, a Welsh Balwen, which I've never heard before, and a Southdown. And they live on a farm together. And yeah, they find a it's a Meteorit in German. I don't know the English word, but basically some bad guys throw a mobile phone out of a hot air balloon thing, and it lands on their where they stand in the grass, and they take it as a sign that they have to go and help out the boss of the sheep, who is called Aries, and they go on a quest to find him and help him out, because he's their maker. It's like their little god, and he's a Sawai sheep. It's very cool, because they describe in this kids book, they describe all the sheep, what they look like. They also said that the Sawai sheep is one of the oldest sheeps, or sheep kinds. I don't know the word. One of the oldest possible sheeps out there, and that all the other sheep are just developed from the Sawai. So he is their god. And it's really, really nice. It's super cute written. I was laughing so hard yesterday night when I was reading it that my husband decided he had to read the book after I'm done. And it's like I said, it's a kid's book from kids aged 10 to 12. That's what the publisher recommends. And I would say that's a good estimate. It's the first book in the series. There are 5 books right now, or the 5th book is coming out in April, I think. And yeah, they're originally written in English, so you can get them in English as well. The books are by Christine and Christopher Russell, who I think are Australians. Australian people. And yeah, I recommend it. It's nice. It's about sheep. It's about wool. So I had to read it, and it's very cute. So go check it out. Original title, The Quest of the Warrior Sheep. And that's it for my episode this week. I hope you are okay. I hope you enjoy what you're doing. And I'll talk to you again next Monday, because I'm changing my podcasting schedule to record on Mondays instead of Sundays from now on. But I think it's no problem at all. So have a nice week. We'll talk again next Monday. Bye.